assignment was to research the New York abandoned property law from the time Hitler took power to the present to see if there was ever a legal obligation for the Swiss banks to, like,
oh my goodness,
New York, you guys hold on the money. We don't know whose it is. We're not keeping it.
Okay, did you find it?
I can't give the details of
Okay.
nor do I remember from 1997 what the details were.
You're listening to Sari Swear on the Sari Swears podcast. Well, welcome everyone to another episode of Sari Swears. I'm very excited to have on the podcast again, but now we're in person. I don't think we've ever done this in person. Michael Cowen, very highly accomplished trial lawyer and the host of your own podcast, Trial Lawyer Nation. Welcome, Michael.
Howdy. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah. So you're out here to command the courtroom closing, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I know that one of the things that you and I love to chat about is mindset. So I want to talk about that. Before we get there, though,
Good.
Tell me, or remind me, or our listeners for the first time, how you and I met, if you remember.
I remember the way we met is I came up to do a work day with you because I had a case where I had designed in all these boards that I was going to use in an opening statement.
Yeah.
And I heard that you could help me use the boards and with body language and stuff and not be as awkward with them. And you told me that if I was telling the jury this was a simple case and I brought up 80 boards, my actions were incongruous with my words. Mm-hmm. And I ended up using a flip chart and no boards for my opening and got a nice verdict.
Lovely. And so I think somewhere around there, you ended up becoming my first mastermind. I think I was calling it back then mastermind, but that's really what it was.
It was VIP back then.
VIP, that's right, my VIP program. And you were the first where we did some mindset coaching along with trial work and all of the things. And so tell me a little bit, before we go into that, your personal trajectory into where you are now. So where did you start and how did you get to where you are now?
Okay, well, how far back you want to go?
Well, what made you become a trial lawyer? Let's start there.
So I didn't start off as a trial lawyer, and I started off saying I would do anything but plaintiff's law or criminal defense.
I've heard that before
yes.
from other people. Isn't that funny?
In fact, before I started law school, I have an uncle that was chief of staff for a state senator who got elected on a tort reform platform. Mm-hmm. And I had dinner with my uncle and a man named Bill Summers who founded a group called Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse. And I was going to go work and make sure that we protected companies from these crazy plaintiffs' lawyers.
Well, that's amazing. How did you go from that to where you are now?
Well, during law school, my plan was I didn't know what to do because if you knew me in undergrad, you would not think that me going to law school would have been a good idea. Mm. And I had a couple really bad semesters. I did well on the LSAT, but I had two uncles that were insurance defense lawyers, and they both told me, don't go to law school. Mm. No one's going to hire you. There's no jobs right now. And so that got me really mad and made me want to go even more. And so, my dad had a used car lot. My two uncles were lawyers. I weren't going to talk to them. I had no idea what you were supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And so at the law school, this is pre-internet. So when the law firms would come and interview, they would have these papers taped to the wall in one hallway. Ah. And the big Texas firms, it said, you have to be the top 25%, and we start at $60,000, which back then was a lot of money.
Yeah.
But the New York firm said you have to be top 10% of your class, and we started at $83,000. So based purely on that, I decided I want to go to New York.
Mm, okay.
So I did the traditional. I clerked for a federal appellate judge for a year, and then I went to the oldest firm in the United States and started off as a Wall Street corporate litigator.
Wow. And how was that? Did you like that?
Yes and no. I loved the cases. I worked on 6 different cases that were on 60 Minutes. Now, the work I did was writing memos and reviewing documents. It wasn't sexy work. Mm-hmm. I didn't mind the hours. They were crazy hours. But what I did see were 2 things. One, I saw the stream of 10 and 11-year associates that were told, hey, you're in litigation, but you've never tried a case, so we can't make you a partner, so we'll give you 6 months to find another job. Mm. And those were the very, very few people that made it that long. And I said, well, I don't know if that's the future I want. Like we have 80 lawyers in our litigation department, and they do 1 to 2 trials a year at most. I don't know that I'm going to be the lawyer I want to be. And then just the so much wasted work. I mean, so much you would write a memo that someone else would incorporate into a part of a motion that someone else would create a motion that someone else would review, and all this like silly work that
It's like you're a
killed
cog
lot
in
of
the
money.
wheel. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of like really unnecessary work, to be perfectly honest. Like really going and triple checking and proofreading a memo that's just going to be circulated around the office that no client's ever going to see. And I had worked part-time because I wanted money for 2 plaintiffs' firms while I was in law school. And I had really enjoyed that work.
Yeah.
And then I had met the woman who's now my wife 6 weeks before I moved to New York. We started dating.
Oh. How long have you been married now?
26 years.
26 years. Congratulations. Ah.
And so, I was visiting her. She was visiting me. So I'd go back home. And so, some friends of mine back home worked at firms, and those firms started recruiting me on the defense side. And so there was a federal judge, magistrate judge, that I was very close to from my time as a clerk. And I asked him, like, what do you think of these firms? He goes, well, they're okay. Here's 2 other firms you should interview. And by the way, there's a man named Ed Stapleton. He knows more about – he's a good friend of mine. He knows more what's going on the plaintiff side. And I said, well, I've only met him once in my life. Could you call him and let him know that I'm going to call him? So I actually called him purely for advice on what defense firm to apply with. At this point, I wasn't adverse to doing plaintiff's work because I'd worked for plaintiff's firms. It was fun. When I took torts, I suddenly understood why we had compensation. But it still wasn't what I was looking for at that point in my journey. And he actually said, well, those are fine firms, but you should work for me instead for 3 reasons. I will teach you how to try those cases, and those motherfuckers don't know how to try cases. I will let you try cases. They'll lie to you, but they won't really let you try cases. And I will send you to the Jerry Spence Trial Lawyers College, which I never heard of before then. And you can't go if you do defense work. This is back in 1997. And so I really struggled with it because it was less money up front than what the defense firms were offering.
Sure.
But I did want to try cases for some reason. It seemed like that's what lawyers were supposed to do.
Yeah.
And the Spence thing seemed neat. I didn't know that much about it, but I learned a little bit about it. And then I remember I was talking to some of the partners in New York about, because I was thinking about leaving it. Well, you got to watch that Jerry Spence. We watched him do that Imelda Marcos case, and I don't know that I'm thinking, well, he won.
Right.
So,
I don't think he ever lost a case. Is that actually right?
He never lost a criminal case, and he hadn't lost a civil case in decades.
Decades, yeah. Did you end up going to the ranch?
Yeah, in 1998, and then I was on the faculty there for a while in the early 2000s.
Okay. So you eventually made your way the way into plaintiff.
Yeah, no, I went to work for Stapleton instead of going to one of the defense firms. I prayed about it, and I said, give me a sign. And so I was in New York about once a week. I would get an assignment about 4:30 or 5 that would be due by 10 a.m. the next morning. So my job, there were class action cases filed against Swiss banks because before, like in the late 30s after the Nazis came to power, a lot of Jews, they didn't know how bad it was going to get, but they knew that their property and money wasn't safe, so they put their money in Swiss banks.
Yeah.
And after the war, survivors came and said, hey, I think my dad or my grandfather had money in your bank. And they said, well, do you have a death certificate? And well, they didn't give out death certificates.
Right.
And they kept the money.
Jesus.
And so these class actions against the Swiss banks, well, it turned out that the Swiss banks weren't so trusting of Hitler to recognize the Swiss neutrality, so they put some of their money in gold into New York banks during the war. So my assignment was to research the New York abandoned property law from the time Hitler took power to the present to see if there was ever a legal obligation for the Swiss banks to
oh my goodness,
New York, you guys hold on the money. We don't know whose it is. We're not keeping it.
Okay, did you find it?
I can't give the details of nor do I remember from 1997 what the details were. But I did say, okay, God, you've told me a sign that I'm on the wrong side. That I think I should be representing the people and not the companies that want to take
the money's away.
And so, I took the job, and he kept his promises. He did pay me less money, but
that's one thing.
I'm kidding. I ended up doing okay. But he did send me to the ranch in 1998. The first trial I sat there and watched him. The second trial he sat next to me and passed me notes and nudged me, and the third trial was on my own. And so
good for him.
I started. He is a wonderful man, but would take any case. And had no selection criteria, so I got to try a lot of really bad cases with very low risk. very early on. So I think I tried 4 or 5 cases that first year.
If you're a longtime listener, you've probably heard me say practice makes progress. And what better way to practice than with a fellow group of trial attorneys in person and with me? Our 2-day Command the Courtroom Masterclass sessions put the H2H method into action, and I'm there every step of the way with live coaching and feedback and finish mama fierceness. Here's what Kent had to say about our masterclass.
Out of every program I've been to, I've taken good points away. But out of this program, everything I've learned has been new and has been something I can implement on day one into my practice and into my next trial. And I feel a greater comfort than I've ever felt before walking into a courtroom and getting to speak with my friends in the voir dire panel.
Now, seats are limited. These are small group, high-impact courtroom sessions, not an auditorium full of bored attorneys and dull lectures. If you want to change the way you go to trial and turn your practice into progress, visit sariswears.com/masterclass to register for a 2026 class today. That's sariswears.com/masterclass. Well, just to pause in your story here, that brings up a good point. I hear often when attorneys haven't tried a lot of cases before that they somehow feel guilty for even doing it, that they're saying, why should I, practice on this client, so to speak? I should probably just bring in someone better to try the case for me. What would you say to that?
Well, how are you going to get better?
How are you going to get better? Yeah.
And honestly, well, one, I really thought I was really good back then. I think my opinion of my trial skills was probably higher back then than it is now, although I think my trial skills are much better now.
Yeah.
I had a little bit more hubris.
The arrogance of the young.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I don't think, but the fact is, for the cases I was trying, I was the right lawyer.
Yeah.
So back then, I tried a lot of disputed liability, low property damage, chiropractor-only cases. And I was the best lawyer for that case. I am not the right lawyer for that case at this point in my career today. I've represented so many people that were horribly injured. I've got so many other things. That case would fall between my cracks. If that case was assigned to me, that unfortunately would be the last thing I work on. It would be a disservice to the client.
I love that idea of the right case for you. Yeah, depending on where you are in your career. When did you start your own law firm?
Well, my boss quit, and I don't want to go into the details, but I had 3 weeks' notice, and all of a sudden I was a law firm owner.
Wow.
And because of my codependency issues that I had back then, I didn't just tell them, get lost, I'm going to go get another job. I took on the firm, and so I had, after referral fee, paying him out, on average, I had 22.5% to 30% of the fee, not of the case, of the 1/3 to 40%. And I was trying to make payroll and fund the law firm, and ended up on my own, struggled for a long time, tried hooking up with different people, didn't work out. From there to 06, from 99 to 06, it was a bunch of stuff until finally I had a partnership breakup where I couldn't afford to both do the buyout of the partner that left, that I let in for free, and fund the cases. So I took a job for a really good plaintiff lawyer from 06 until 08. And that really was transformational because I actually worked for somebody that could run a law firm as a business and practice at a high level. And
then you opened your current law firm when?
2008.
2008.
It's had different names, but 2008, I went back on my own. Even though I still loved the guy I was working for, I didn't think he was letting himself be happy. And what's the point of a bunch of success if you're not happy? And I wanted to be happy.
So your firm now is based in San Antonio, and you were telling me earlier, about 30 people there, right? 10 lawyers total?
10 lawyers, about 35, 36 employees total.
And you also have a branch in?
I have another firm that I own half of in New Mexico that has another lawyer and 6 or 7 employees there. And you
also are the host of a very popular podcast, Trial Lawyer Nation. When did Trial Lawyer Nation first come out?
2018.
2018. That's about the same time mine came out, I think. We're kind of equal there. So when you first were with me and we started mindset coaching, you now say, and I hear people all the time, Sorry, did you listen to the recent one of TLN? Michael mentioned you again. So I'm so grateful for that. But the mindset piece really had a big impact on you. Why do you think that is?
Because it's more important than any trial skill.
Say more.
I think I unconsciously held myself back because when I didn't trust the jury, when I didn't trust myself, then I subconsciously communicated through my tone, through my body language, through my eyes, that I don't trust you and I don't even trust me.
Yeah. And if you don't trust you, they shouldn't trust you.
Right. And so even though I was getting better verdicts than other lawyers in my community and I was still getting referrals and I was still doing good work, I think I remember talking to you about, like, I'm getting verdicts but not capital V verdicts.
Yes.
I'm not getting the verdicts that I think my clients deserve. And what I learned is I could do all the trial techniques in the world. I can go memorize other people's things, and none of it would matter until I fix myself.
That's right. And not that you were broken.
Let me rephrase that. Fix myself was wrong.
Yeah.
Until I learned to accept that I am just as capable, deserving. What does I say every morning? I'm just as deserving, capable, and worthy of everything in my life as any other person on earth. Not any better, but not any worse.
I love that. I love that. And so a lot of the mindset work is really getting out of your own way. So it was really uncovering the beliefs that were getting in the way.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of those things. Before you started mindset training, what are some of the things that on the regular you would think, either about yourself or the jury?
Yeah, that other people had some magic secret that I didn't have, or some magic attribute that I didn't have.
You were the only one feeling the way you felt, right?
Well, I just felt like there were like a few people that just had this magic secret sauce that I didn't have, and either it was something I hadn't learned yet, or it was just something innate that they had that I didn't have.
Yeah, and could never have.
Right, and that was the fear. I mean, I didn't want to believe that, but that was the fear. The jurors just wouldn't like me enough, or they just didn't want to do the right thing, and I would have to somehow convince them or force them or guilt them or somehow.
Or 80 boards, show them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still use boards with experts.
For sure. There's place for
times
boards.
to use boards. But,
Absolutely. And PowerPoints too.
Yeah.
So what was the breakthrough then? What do you think really made the difference in terms of your mindset?
Yeah. I don't think it was, I think breakthrough is the wrong thing. I mean, I started off with having to tell myself things and eventually start believing them. So I got it from you, like, you have to trust the jury. And it may or may not be true, but if you tell yourself, like, the jurors are good people, they're here to do the right thing, they're going to do justice, you're going to approach them better. You're going to, whether it's true or not, you're telling yourself that, you're behaving that, you're treating them that way, you're more likely to get that result. And I do the same with judges. Whether or not they're going to rule in my favor or not, I just tell myself, the judge is a good person. She's making the ruling she believes to be correct.
Yeah.
Under her understanding of the facts of law. I may not agree with her.
That's right.
But I'm going to respect her. I'm going to assume good intent. I'm not going to think that she may hate me.
Right.
But I'm going to assume that she's making the ruling because that's what she thinks is right, and I'm going to just live with it.
And how has that changed things for you, your actual practice of law?
Well, it's a lot more fun, a lot less stressful. And so, like, I love trial now. Like, I liked trial before, but now I love trial because I am just having fun. And I'll never say this in front of a client again, but in my thought, like, if I do my job and the jury fucks it up, that's really not my problem.
That's right. That's what I told you, right? I said if the jury, what the jury decides is on the jury.
Yeah.
And when I always work with my masterminds now, and it started with you, is one of the first things we put down was, wanting this certain result.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why are you here? Well, I want better verdicts. Okay, great. We're going to put that down. And you were like, wait, why? And I said, because if that's all we're focused on, then we can't really do the work that we need to do. That is going to be an evidence of the work we're doing. It's not the point of the work that we're doing.
And very specifically, I told you I wanted to get an 8-figure verdict, and I didn't get one until I no longer cared whether I got an 8-figure verdict because it no longer was something that was a measure of my worth as a person or lawyer.
Yes. And I was hoping you wouldn't get one until then, because what happens is I know, because what happens though is that then that becomes another thing. And once you get it, then it's like, well, what's the next thing? Well, then I got to top that, or I got to repeat that, or whatever it may be. But it's so counterintuitive to really put that down, focus on the work that you can have control over, and enjoy actually being in trial. I remember after we worked together, I don't know, a year or so, And we worked on and off since then for the last, 6 years or so.
Yeah.
But people would come to me and they would say, and they come to you too, what happened to you?
Mm-hmm.
Something is different. You heard that.
Well,
and what do you think they were noticing?
Well, you also helped me on stage because I'd been speaking a lot, and I thought I was an okay speaker, but I became I had some awkward body language and awkward expression things just coming from my own nervousness and insecurity.
Also a mindset fix there too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you also helped me become more dynamic as far as the range and control of energy and management of energy. And so I think a lot of it, I became a better speaker.
Yeah.
And then I think from there it went on to I'm just a happier.
Yes.
I struggled with depression most of my life.
Yeah.
And going back
Me
in
too.
life, it was pretty bad. I mean,
It could get dark.
I wish I would have known to ask for help back, teens, 20s. But I actually no longer, according to my PhD therapist, no longer have a diagnosis of anything in the DSM.
Wow, that's kind of huge.
Yes.
And what
With
do you,
no medications.
And what do you attribute that to?
Mindset.
Mindset.
Changing the way I look at the world, changing the way I look at, and it's a lot of work, and it is not. It's not a straight line,
Right.
and it's not every day. I'm not saying I don't have days where old habits come back, where the mindset's not perfect, but about 85% of the time I'm there.
That's amazing. I think when we were working together, you just had the 3 lawyers at your firm, or maybe a handful.
Yeah.
And you've grown so much. You also have this amazing podcast, but now you have this trucking symposium.
My Big Rig Boot Camp.
Big Rig Boot Camp. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, although I like to, I'm lucky enough to get to speak at different things, but one, I decided I don't ever want my brand and my ability to get myself out there to be dependent on some committee or popularity
Right.
or
Other people
who may be jealous or may not like me about something. And so it was a struggle because first I thought, who am I to have my own seminar?
And this is why I love this story, because this shows the growth. Continue.
Who am I to do that? And I decided, well, why not? And so I just did it, and now we had over 200 people last year.
Yeah, and I think you started at like 30 or 50 people.
It started pretty small.
Yeah.
But it's built up, and I just
200 people. I mean, let's that's amazing.
Yeah, we're gonna be 250 this year.
That's amazing. When do you do this event?
It's in July. Oh my gosh! BigRigBootCamp.com is where you can sign up. I think it's a Thursday. I have to look at my calendar.
Okay, so where can they go if they want some information on this?
BigRigBootCamp.com.
BigRigBootCamp.com.
And,
we'll have that in the show notes too. And just tell us a little bit. Is it a day long? 3 days?
It's a 1 day. Well, we have a party the night before if you want to come.
Oh, fun.
But it's at a really neat place. They actually have concerts and stuff there. It's a pretty big venue, so like we have really good LED screens.
I
a
saw
big
that
stage.
online. I was like, look at this.
Yeah, but the main seminar is 1 day, and we do give. I just really do a deep dive into trucking cases. This year we're going to add a little bit because I've had requests for it. Also, how to present medical testimonies. So we're going to have I'm going to give the theory, and then we're going to bring a doctor and give a demonstration.
Lovely.
So I think it's important to not just to do a demonstration to show off, but you also want to do the practical. So like, here's the outline, what we're trying to do.
Oh my God, we don't need more war stories.
Yeah, and then we break it up, and like, I'm going to do this first, and then we show you how to do it.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, so it's super practical. I give everything away. As far as like, there's no secrets being held back. Like, this is how we find rules, is how we apply them, is how we use them in this part of the trial, that part of the trial, and it's a lot of fun. People keep coming back. It gets bigger every year.
If someone's not a trucking lawyer, but they might be interested in doing trucking cases, should they come?
Yeah, it's a great way to learn.
I love trucking cases. Oh my goodness, I love trucking cases.
There's a great lawyer in Michigan, Bruce Inocencio. I don't know if you know him.
Bruce is in the crew.
Okay, well,
he's an H2H member. I love his last name, Inocencio.
I know. He should have been criminal defense, right? But he tried I think it was a nursing home or medical case, and he got a great verdict. He sent me an email saying, I actually used your book. And I said, how did you use a trucking book to try that?
Well, the book was the next thing I was going to ask you about.
And he said, well, because you gave the theory about, creating a villain, getting roles, sourcing the roles, showing how they broke the roles. And by sourcing, I mean, like I call it anchoring. I got it for Rodney Jew. But I mean, just finding like, where does the role come from?
Yes.
And and he says, I use the same technique. And so it's just, instead of it being wheels, it was a institution. But
Oh my gosh, I love that. Bruce, I think, have I had Bruce on a podcast? I don't remember, but Bruce is amazing. Also
is.
a H2H crew member. The name of your book is
Big Rig Justice.
Big Rig Justice, and it's at Trial Guides. So
Yep,
then go to trialguides.com, a fellow author. You and I are both with Trial Guides. Another book to definitely get if you guys are interested in learning more about trucking law. I love trucking cases. What would you say, because this is what we hear a lot here, is, especially people who after the fact, because we don't hear it from people, straight to our face, but they're like, the mindset stuff, I wasn't really buying into that until I actually did it and coached with either me or with Kevin. And oh my gosh, sorry, it has changed everything. What would you say to a trial attorney who's like, I don't know about this?
I thought you were totally full of shit when we started this. Sorry.
See?
I didn't buy it. I didn't want to buy it. I thought it was all voodoo, hocus pocus, pop psychology.
I love this.
Absolutely. And I just was humoring you. And part of it, I just had to go through my journey with it.
That's right.
Now I do a routine called the Miracle Morning almost
Yes,
every
we
morning.
talked about that book. I love that book.
And, so part of my morning is my affirmations. And, when I'm in trial, I'm like, I will win the Judy Kent case no matter what. There is no other option.
Yes.
So the judge can make whatever ruling she wants. Those are the ground rules. I got to find a way to run under her rules. It's transformational.
So what would you say to a lawyer who's saying, I don't know that I need mindset coaching? I mean, it's all about trial skills for me.
Well, I say try it. I don't want to say you're wrong because I don't know. I don't know you. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I know some lawyers that look at the world very differently than I do
Yes.
and try cases and work out cases very differently, and they get great results.
Yeah.
I don't want their lives.
I was going to say, are they happy? I don't know.
Some are, some aren't, but and that's okay. And so there's more than one way to do things.
Sure.
But this way has not only been professionally successful for me, but my life is so much better. I am so
Yes.
much happier. My personal relationships are better. My ability to let go and trust people, but have healthy relationships and healthy boundaries, which has really freed me up. Most of my life is doing what I love now. I mean, I don't answer discovery anymore. I don't defend depositions anymore. I don't have a docket anymore. I have great lawyers I work with, and I come in and do big depositions and try cases. It's so fun.
I love it. I love it. You're living the life that a lot of lawyers want. And as we were talking about earlier in the seminar that you're here for, we tend to wait. We're like, no, I have to have these big verdicts before I can do some of these things. And what you're proving is you changed your mindset first, and then all the evidence showed up.
I mean, I had good verdicts, but not great. I mean,
Exactly.
I had, 7-figure verdicts, but I didn't have an 8-figure. And the other thing is I had to realize that it was okay for me not to answer discovery.
That's right.
That it was okay for me not to defend a deposition, that I somehow, I don't have to do these things to play my part. Like I'm paying other people to do it. And other people there's lots of people that don't really want to try cases.
That's right.
And they would much rather be defending a deposition. I've a lawyer that works for me. She does 3 prep sessions with the client. It's great. I couldn't do it.
Right.
I don't have the patience for it, but she's good at it and she
Loves
likes it. And,
Yeah. So let her do it.
Exactly.
I love this. And it's been such an honor to watch your trajectory and I'm going to use the word transformation. You've absolutely transformed. I'm so glad I got to have even a little bit of part of that.
Physically, mentally, everything. Yeah.
Everything. And that we've been friends all this time. It's just such an honor to have you here in the podcast and to watch you. So thank you for being here on the show.
And thank you for, continuing. I'm still learning from you. And, I'm trying to, it's funny. I guess though you don't always see yourself the way other people see you. And so somebody at this workshop said, I was wondering, why would Michael Cowen be here? He knows how to try cases.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, because I want to do it better.
That's right. And I see that is the one thing I always see in people who are already good and always want to get better. You can't bottle that.
Yeah.
You guys are the ones that keep showing up.
Yeah, we had $38 million verdict last month, and I want to get better. I'm not satisfied.
That's
and
fantastic.
not that I think there's anything wrong with me. I did have 24 hours where I didn't love a couple things, but I know there's another level.
Well, I think, and that's one thing too we talked about, is that the fuel that a lot of trial attorneys think is the right fuel is the fear, right? I'm going to beat myself up because if I didn't beat myself up, then I'm going to get complacent and then I'll get lazy and then I won't ever do anything. And what I've seen so much with you is that fuel has turned to love.
Yeah.
Self-love primarily love for the jury, love for the judge,
Yeah.
right? May not always agree with what they decide, but that has changed everything for you. We have watched it, those of your friends and colleagues. It's been incredible.
Yeah, so I'm here not because I think there's anything wrong with me
That's right.
or that I don't have the skills. I can go try a case.
Yeah.
But I also know that I love it, and if I can get a little bit better, I'm going to love it even more. And
That's
so I
right.
want to just keep working at it and getting better and better, and I appreciate your coaching on that.
Well, I just love you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Love you too.
Okay. Well, we'll talk later. See you next week. Ever wish you had a place to practice your trial skills and connect with other lawyers who get it and connect with me? Grab your seat in the H2H Playground. It's where you get real coaching, community, and strategies to actually grow your practice. Head to sariswears.com/play and get enrolled. Until next time.